The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Everybody, welcome to Ask for Candy. I am Candice, Harper, lovecoach.com. And you are tuning in your TuneIn app, possibly on your smart device, or maybe you're in the garden on Armed Radio Global. But what I want you to know is that I teach and inspire. Wait, hold up. How did we just lose our Facebook Live? What happened? Anyway, people who are listening in on TuneIn and people who are in the garden, we do this show on Facebook Live. Those of you who listen in every Monday. And we just lost our feed, so we're going to find it as I'm talking to you. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I'm Candice, Harper, lovecoach.com. I teach and inspire audacious intimacy to powerful, professional, grown women who want real relationships and seductive singlehoods. And I always say that dating and relationships can be hard, but love is always easy. And I want you guys to call in tonight because I have a very, very special guest. Miss Keesha O'Galdez, vegan chef from the Gourmet Diva. She has joined us tonight to talk about food and love and how we can incorporate the two, right? So now, those of you who are tuning in, you cannot see us, but we like to do our Facebook Live, and for whatever reason, we lost our live video feed. So I'm going to try again to see if we can get us back on while we're, whatever. We got a little bit of technical difficulties, but I think we're on now.
Right,
I think we got this.
Our way through the evening.
Right? So take two. I'm Candice Harper, Love Coach. I teach and inspire audacious intimacy to powerful, professional, grown women who want real relationships and seductive singlehoods. My guest tonight, Keesha O'Galdez, vegan chef from thegourmetdiva.com, which is a stylish adventure into all things foodie and fabulous. A delicious, nutritious, wonderfully wallet-friendly journey. A luscious learning experience and a way of life. We're here to tell you that it's never too late or too early to fall in love with food and to empower you with the goods to create a life that glows of health. With cooking lessons, events, and home-cooked meals delivered to your door, we'll prove you don't have to sacrifice your time, sanity, or cash to live deliciously. That is lifted directly from the Gourmet Diva website. And Keesha was kind enough to bring food. And so I think I'm like, because the food was so good, I'm starting to get the itis. Like, we just started this. I know we just started the show. The food was so good. I wish that I could, give you guys those of you who are listening, I wish that I could give you all a sample of the food. Those of you who are tuning in on Facebook Live, we finally got this together. I think you guys can too. Let me make sure that it's public. I wish I could have shared it with everybody.
Well, it's only for you. When I made this, I thought specifically about you. When we spoke about being on the show, you mentioned that you were on a specialized diet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, great. What can't you eat? So I don't know if you want to share a little bit more about what diet that you're following.
Yeah.
And I can fill in why I chose this meal for the evening.
Yes.
For you.
Well, I'll tell everybody that I am definitely gluten-free. I know that that's sort of like the trend, right? Like everybody's gluten-free. But what I have found is that, when I was eating gluten, I had a lot of digestive problems. And I think that's very common. I think it has to do with the processing in food and all of that stuff. So I stopped eating that. And I really try to stay away from the carbs and sugar. Because the carbs and sugar just make me fat. I don't know. I know a little bit of the science. I won't bore you with the science behind it.
And I won't bore myself with the science. I just want food to taste good. But right? Great. Thank you for the lovely introduction. I do make vegan, gluten-free. I run the gamut when it comes to food, but more with a healthier spin, to it. So for tonight, I don't know if they can see.
They can see. There's a little bit left, right? We've been eating. The people who are listening in the garden and on the TuneIn app cannot see this delicious food, but go ahead.
So Candice had mentioned she's gluten-free. There's a whole list of things that she can't eat, but that didn't scare me. So I went in I wanted to make a Mediterranean-style dish. So for the grain, I use millet, which is a North African grain. And you can find it in stores, mainly Fairway or Whole Foods. But something different. I didn't want to make quinoa because I'm just tired of seeing quinoa.
Yeah.
So the grain of choice is millet, which is actually a seed. Then also put some spices, put some cumin. I put coriander, tomatoes. So it kind of really give it some taste. If not, if you don't put any loving into some grains, it just tastes boring. That's why most people don't like brown rice. It's just going for it. Then on top of that, we had some salmon with a harissa paste, which is a red pepper sauce.
Okay.
There's a lot more that's going on in the plate, but I won't go into the detail.
I don't think I've ever had harissa paste. I think that's why when I tasted it, I was like, ooh, like like brand new taste sensation. So good. Yeah.
So when you go shopping in Mediterranean, it's a Moroccan food, so like a little paste, and you put some on top of it. Sometimes we'll put sliced lemons on top or some kind of citrus. So when you're baking it all comes right into your salmon. So
I love it.
And it's simple, so you can
you can do it at home. See, the reason that I wanted to have Keesha come on is because we are so, I mean, she's a sister in transformation with me, but we're so aligned as far as like, I'm really big into self-care. And I think that what we eat and how we treat our bodies is like so important when it comes to the healthy relationship conversation, because if you think about it, like when we eat healthy food, we feel happier.
Yes. Right?
You feel better, you feel more energetic, you lose weight, you get your body in shape, whatever. And then, that bleeds over into your partnerships and relationships with people. Not saying everybody has to be a size 2 to have a great relationship, but eating healthy food helps us do everything.
Keeps you energized. Like for me, if I know I'm having a bad day, I start off with coffee. I won't eat all day, and then it comes around 2 o'clock, I get fuzzy in my head. I'm like, wait. What happened?
Like what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? Like, I didn't eat.
Yeah.
Just like nitpicking here and there, but not to really treat myself and sit down. And to be honest, this is my first meal of the day.
Yeah.
I had a smoothie for lunch.
You're like intermittent fasting.
Maybe I'll try that out and see how
I've been doing that. I lost 25 pounds so far, intermittent fasting.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I have a third.
But you're doing it naturally.
So I just walk up and down my stairs.
Right? I don't think you need to do anything. You're pretty slender. Like, I don't think you need to do anything else.
I was
don't become a skinny bitch. We're not having that.
Never trust a skinny chef. Okay. But I do have my own personal struggles with food as well. So it's not, for me, yes, when I gain weight, I can tell something is out of line in my personal life. Like what's going on. I'm too busy. I'm not taking care of myself. Just go. Or am I stressed? You can't lose weight if you're stressed. So it's definitely a way for me to gauge. Like I hide weight. If I gain weight, you won't really tell.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this goes right to the hip. A little hip right there. So.
But you have like an overall look of fitness. You look like someone who eats healthy when you do eat, and like you said, you got the walk up, right?
So it's natural, built in.
And I think that's something too. Like we're fortunate in that we live in New York City because there's you walk everywhere and all of that stuff. But I think sometimes people think in order to be healthy and to get in shape that they have to make like some sort of mega transition or mega shift and do like hours of cardio and only eat lettuce. But we're here to like debunk that myth. Yeah, because that's misery to me.
I don't own a gym membership, and I do not plan on going to the gym.
I got you.
Doesn't work for me.
There's no, and yet you look like you go to the gym.
Thank you.
Right?
At home on my YouTube, do a little something. So
I got you. I like YouTube videos for working out. Right?
You find somebody you like, but you mentioned like when you want to lose weight or do something, you want to go through this whole dramatic change, and what ends up happening. It's not sustainable. Yeah. You have to develop it over time.
Yeah.
It can take years. Like find what works for you and what habits you can build
and implementing them.
Right.
I love it. All right, so now you see why I brought Miss O'Galdez on tonight, because she is very knowledgeable in the self-care, the health, how you take care of yourself. And I really feel like it is, with what we're doing here, and those of you who have tuned in before, those of you who listen, you know that this is a conversation. And I feel like this is a very important part of the love conversation. Like I said, how we take care of ourselves and the things that we're talking about. So I developed a list of questions for Keesha. Now, those of you who are on the Facebook Live, I want you to talk to us. I want you to ask your own questions for Keesha, especially if they're like recipe or food related or tips about how to maintain because I think the hardest part can be consistency, like consistently making yourself healthy
and not
things.
beat yourself up over it.
And not beat yourself up over it. Like balance is also difficult. Like just because I had, a chocolate bar one day doesn't mean that
my whole life is going to hell.
Exactly. Yes. Or that I just like blow off any sort of healthiness. Like, I broke my diet. And then also this whole thing about like extreme diets and stuff. We want to debunk the myth that that's even necessary, that you have to do any of that, right? But what I want you guys to do, if you're on the Facebook Live, I want you to talk to us. It's a conversation. I know we look like TV, but we're not TV if you're watching on Facebook Live. And also, if you are on the TuneIn app or you're in the garden, you have to call us, 1-800-508-5431, if you have any questions for me or for Keesha about love, about food, whatever, or if something resonates with you and you just want to like talk about it and get into the conversation. We welcome all of it, and we love all of you who are here. All right, so let's
go.
Right, let's get into these questions.
I'm on the hot seat.
You're a little bit on the hot seat. I want you to feel like you can say whatever. Like the Ask for Candy group, we're very candid and open.
Is that the truth?
That is the truth. We're candid at Ask for Candy. We say what's on our mind and we share what's on our mind. And this is a no judgment zone. We're all just here to like love each other and help each other and, take all the shame out of the story.
Okay.
So just, lay it on us. I'm going to ask and if you guys think of any questions that you want to ask Chef Keesha, please, by all means, write in your questions on Facebook or call in 1-800-508-5431. First question.
What you got?
Do you make it a point to woo your lovers with food? And if so, what is your go-to dish?
Wonder how I woo my boo?
Yes. Yes, honey.
It's funny. Well, I'll tell the audience a secret because you kind of gave me a little heads up about the questions for the evening. And
yes.
When I saw that question, I just immediately started laughing because this imagery of me luring in men, like, come here, come to mama, I can cook for you.
Food is very attractive. Food is almost more attractive than boobs.
It is.
For men.
Oh my God, it is. I never used to tell people I knew how to cook. So I just thought it's standard, people cook.
Yeah.
But now with Instagram, Facebook, and all this other stuff, now it's on Front Street. Keisha's a chef.
Yes.
She knows how to cook.
Right.
Oh, really okay. Great. How can I get in this lineup? Right. So, but now being a chef's a sexy thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't really own it or realize it until you start telling people, oh, I'm a chef.
So you're saying that like your quotient went up. Like people were interested, they want to date you, they want to know you.
Yes.
I love that.
And I'm like, but you can't share your gifts with everybody or anybody.
Yes, your cookies or your cookies.
Hold my cookies.
You can't just share it with
everybody. So exactly. So cooking is a way for me, at least for me, to show appreciation, love, my creativity, and just even thinking about that other person.
Yeah.
So you asked about my go-to dish. Is for me, it's based on conversations that I would have with somebody else. Okay. So like with you, like, this is what I enjoy. For me, I pick up on those things. Like I feel like I'm a very intuitive person.
Yeah.
So my meal will be tailored towards that person.
I like that.
So my current boo, someone put it out there anyway. Yeah.
There's a current boo. For those of you out there who are listening and thinking you're going to get a little Chef Keesha, there's a current boo.
And that's the reason he told me, like, that's the reason why I dated you, because you're a chef. I'm like,
really?
Girl.
But that's part of you.
Not my charming personality. It's the food. So he gets fed. He gets special, the rundown.
Yeah.
Anytime. So
yeah.
So not everybody gets stuffed chicken. But
so tell us what is the dish that you make for him that is going to be like the. Because that was going to be the next question. Oh God. That is like.
Now everybody's like, who? Short rib. It's a short rib pasta.
Oh, short rib pasta.
Yeah, short rib sauce with pappardelle pasta with probably like asparagus or something on the side, a salad, and then whatever dessert of choice,
Yeah.
And key lime pie.
Oh my gosh, I'm ready to date you.
Right?
Key lime pie and short rib pasta.
It's usually simple. I was like, here you go.
Yeah.
But it's even if it's something simple like a sandwich, it'll be put on a piece of China. That's like one thing I believe with anybody.
Fancy
it's always, I don't eat on paper plates ever.
I like that.
I mean, once in a blue moon, you may see me eat on a paper plate, but it's something about whatever you take. It can be takeout food. You put it on a piece of china or some, good silverware. It just changes.
It ups the quotient.
Ups the quotient. Changes the dynamic, like you show that you care.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate doing dishes. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Although I have to say, like, this thing that you made for us tonight, it's so good that I would eat it out of a dog bowl. Like, I wouldn't. I mean, I love that idea of like putting it on china. I agree with you. Like, I think that it's very special, and it makes it like, but please, I mean, you don't even need the bells and whistles at all.
But I care, so I had to make sure you were taken care of. I knew you had a busy day, so it's like, let's end this off right.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so that was awesome. Now, here's another question. What are your top 5 feel-good foods and why?
Feel good in what type of way feel good?
Well, physically, like self-care, like that make you feel good. Like you've done the right thing. You're eating the right thing.
If you see my freezer, is nothing filled. It's full of bananas and fruit.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So that's kind of my feel good. Make a smoothie. Not think about it. It's like my blender and my freezer are right here. Food, and I drink it right out the blender. Don't judge me.
No judgments.
No judgment.
No
judgment.
So that's number 1.
Just keep your food easily accessible, and when you're organizing your kitchen, make everything easy to get to.
Yeah.
You don't want to think about where's this, where's that. If it's right there, it's easy to go and cook or do whatever you need to do.
So that's the frozen banana smoothie?
Yeah, frozen bananas. If my vegetables are about to, like if I have any spinach or any type of greens that's just right about to go bad, put it in the freezer. You can always use it in a smoothie.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
So
like kale, stuff like that, right?
Chop it up a little bit and put it in your freezer, and then you can use it for a smoothie later.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Okay, so that's what? Does that count as 2? No, that was just
kind of a whole lot of stuff.
Well, you mentioned also
eating the right thing. It's like always believe in eating grains, greens, any types or fruit.
Okay,
as long as that's
grains,
incorporated.
Greens, fruit.
And that's pretty much, as long as I'm eating that throughout the day, I'm deciding to kind of hit my marks.
So we got that's a good solid top 3. I feel like that'll get you through them. And let me ask you about the meat eating, because I know that would you consider yourself a vegetarian or vegan chef? I put you as both.
I know you put me as both. I consider myself neither.
You're like, I'm not in it. But you can do it. You can cook up some vegan and vegetarian food.
I went on a fast for Lent, but I just had lean fish and no chicken as my protein. But being cognizant of not having meat, like animal meat, and like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I might just have it for one meal, and then have just vegetables and whatever, salad and grains. In my other meal. So like typical day for me would be a cup of coffee and some oatmeal with some dried fruit and some nuts and change it up. Yeah. So I'm just not thinking about what am I going to eat for breakfast. Might have a boiled egg or a scrambled egg. Then lunch is kind of whatever I'm cooking for my clients. That's the glorious part about working is I kind of tailor my diet to what they're eating. So,
yeah.
So then dinner is kind of like, all right, maybe a leftover from lunch or just...
You find yourself like nibbling absently, like because you're tasting and all of that stuff.
I nibble absently.
So then you don't need to sit down and eat lunch because you've been like...
Exactly, but then I never know how much I'm eating.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. It's like, okay, I'm not full, but once I see it on a plate, I know how much I'm eating. Once I'm nibbling and tasting. But at least I know that's for me. As a chef, this is what you're going through, but I'll say everybody else. More prone to try to eat. But then you realize throughout the day, I think the major concern is mindless eating. The little chocolate that's on the secretary's desk, the cake that your coworker brought in. Oh, we're having a meeting at 10. What does everybody have? The donuts and the So in general, we all can do better, and it's easy swaps that can be made in our day. That's not going to be painful. It's changing our mentality. Do we really need the donuts? No, we don't need the donuts. We can put a bowl of fresh fruit and we're all going to be happy. We're grown-ups.
But But you could have. I mean, I don't do the donut. I try to not. Okay, let me not lie.
I'm a sweet tooth.
Right, me too. And I wanted to say that I never do the donut, but I cannot tell a lie to my peeps. It's not that I never do the donut, but I don't make it a practice. Like even if I'm working somewhere where treats are brought in, there used to be a time where I always had to have the treats too, but I don't make it a practice anymore. But I do think that if you're someone who doesn't struggle with like sugar and things like that, I feel like if you struggle with sugar and you're insulin resistant and all of that, like if you could do zero tolerance, you're better off. It's like being an alcoholic.
Yeah, it's like one little thing will set you off, and then you eat chocolate chip cookies every minute.
Exactly, but if you're not, I feel like the donut every now and then, right?
Right. Okay. If you can control it every now and then, as you mentioned, triggers and like sometimes you want to be comfort.
Yeah,
sugar is a comforting feeling. You're having a bad moment. What do we reach for?
Sugar, booze,
and some ice cream. That too. See, like, we got a little thing of rum over there,
right? Rum, like we got to cover all the bases, right?
Yeah. So it's really being cognizant and aware of what are you using food for. Are you using food to nourish yourself, or are you
there? Are you eating your pain?
Eating my pains away. Like, oh, you broke up with me. Oh my God.
Right. You can, like, for me, I'm one of those people who, like, my weight has fluctuated probably my whole life, and you can always tell when I'm eating my pain. It's just a fact of life. What are you going to do?
And then you start to realize, okay, gaining some weight, what's going on in my life?
Right? Obviously, I need to deal with the emotional issues. As soon as the pounds come on,
right?
It's like,
I know the food, you can deal with the emotional part of this conversation.
Right? No, totally. All right, so question number 3. Besides running your business, and you might have sort of already answered this, but we could still explore it. Besides running your business, what is the top way you use food to love yourself?
Let's see, it's comforting. For me, I'd like to... It's a treat. At times it's a treat. As mentioned, I cook healthy food. So for me to cheat and go, I like to go to a greasy diner or something.
Okay. Like a cheeseburger?
A cheeseburger. If you want to be on my good side, I like dinner for breakfast. Breakfast for dinner. So like some French toast, some pancakes, a good omelet. That's me being, naughty, not really care, because I can't replicate that taste sometimes at home. That little dirty, that taste. I can't get it at home.
Right? It's like how, I forget which comedian used to talk about his mom would try to make McDonald's hamburgers at home, and they'd always like, in as much as I don't advocate for McDonald's these days, but when I was a kid, like, we loved McDonald's, right?
I like White Castle. What you crave?
You like White Castle?
It's the onions and the soft bread. Don't judge me.
To have your mom try to, like, emulate it, and meanwhile, it's like this big, fat, juicy burger with, like, chunks of onion and peppers, and, and it's probably healthier for you. I forget who this comedian is who talks about it.
Does anybody out there know who it is? Please call in.
Exactly. If you're on the Facebook Live and you know who this comedian is that I'm talking about, if you're watching the broadcast later and you know who this comedian is that I'm talking about, who talks about his mom trying to make a McDonald's hamburger. Like, he never wanted to eat his mom's hamburger. He always wanted to eat. But I get that. Like, when we were kids, it is hard to emulate those
so that's me being naughty, being nice, buy like a $7-10 green juice from somewhere and
got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
I like clean my juicer.
Yeah. So there's the healthy treating yourself, and then there's the not so,
I don't care. Don't bother me if you see me eating a wing. Well, I thought you ate healthy. I'm a human being too. I can, it's balance.
I can fall off the wagon sometimes.
I purposely derail myself.
Yes.
Like I'm going over here.
We're all human beings here.
Eating as a sport is, like as a profession, I do need to see what is out there. So I have to stay abreast of.
That's such a good excuse for eating pizza.
Is it a bullying pizza? What type of pizza is it? Like, I never think about this technique.
Right? Let me try this new form of cheese and tomato and bread. No, it's good. Yes, absolutely. All right, so there's a couple of these questions you've already kind of answered, because it was like, what advice would you give for someone who uses food as a vice? I think you
kind of touched upon it. Just be aware. Definitely be aware of it and be mindful and take it day by day.
Yeah, right. And just mindfulness is like really important. I think just the awareness that you're eating because you're feeling like I don't know, your boss rejected that proposal that you drew up, and you're feeling low, or you're feeling not enough, or you're feeling some level of rejection, so you eat a cake. Mm-hmm. I say that because I've been there. But it's like, it is the mindfulness of that I think is what pulls us out of it. Like, that you can stop and say to you, okay, I'm not hungry, I'm just eating this because of whatever. And usually I think once you allow yourself that brain trigger, it's easier to just,
Like for me, I can't just have one cookie. Mm-hmm. Some people will just have one cookie and just leave the rest and ration it out for the rest of the week. No, 2 days and a whole pack of
it's gone. Yeah.
But that's why I don't keep cookies in the house.
I hear that.
So, not the problem. Don't clean cookies.
Right, so you're saying set yourself up to win, right?
Mm-hmm. Win.
I love it. Now, here's a juicy question. Mm-hmm. Have you ever rejected someone because they didn't like your cooking? I can't imagine anybody who didn't like your cooking, because I've had it. So
I want to say no.
Would you?
Would I? It would be kind of
I'd be like, okay,
this is not going to work. But I think it's a lot of when you talk about relationships, there's a certain alignment that happens. Because you're not thinking about just yourself when it comes to food. You have to think about the other person as well. Mm-hmm. So if you're a big eater, and I like to eat tofu, how are we going to make this work? Mm-hmm. So I want to make ribs all the time. I don't want to eat tofu. So what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So kind of change your cooking style to adapt to
the person that you're with. We're going to talk more about that too, because we have our relationship challenges that are coming up. But I want to get to your lovely sister. I hope she's either watching us or listening in right now. Your lovely sister, right?
There's another O'Galdez out there.
There's another O'Galdez. She posted on our original Facebook post. Her question was, why do we gain weight in relationships? And those of you who are listening on the TuneIn app or out in the garden or wherever you are, please feel free to call in if this is something that resonates with you. 1-800-508-5431. Those of you who are on the Facebook Live, we don't have a lot of, usually my conversationalists come in on the Facebook Live, but I think...
Do you have any?
We have some people, but I think because of the technical difficulties, is it not showing up? I feel like their comments aren't showing up. So I can't see your comments right now, but put them anyway, because I will go back through the thread and be commenting and everything. So the topic is, why do we gain weight in relationships? And before you get a chance to answer, I just want to say that when I was talking about my ups and downs, they usually align with my relationships. And whether I gain weight because I'm so happy or gain weight because I'm so miserable, it's definitely something that has happened to me in the past. I'm trying to transform it. I'm trying to have a new experience. Exactly, it's a work in progress. I'm trying to have a new experience and not have it go that way. But tell me what you think about that, like why you think that's the case.
Let's see. Yeah, you do probably gain something. You got that happy weight, that comfy weight. Are we working as hard to stay slim, trim?
Yeah.
Try to catch up. You got that single weight, you got your body right. You at the gym all the time.
Right. Working your fitness.
Out. Then you meet him or her, whatever. Your partner. Then you may try to slack off.
Yeah.
Or you're going out having the greatest time of your life. So we're going out to eat here. We're going out to eat there. We're just having fun. And next thing you know, you got another, little person attached to you.
Right.
So that's one thing. So you have the happy times, you're just going and having fun. And then at a certain point I think people get comfortable. Comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's but you always got to be mindful. Always think about yourself as single.
Yeah. Right? No matter how long you've been married.
No matter how long you've been married, consider yourself single. You're always going to keep it tight. You're always going to keep it right. And then your husband will look at you like, yeah.
I agree with that. I do think that there's something to be said for always in the back of your mind feeling like that you're winning over your partner, no matter how long you've been together. Now, obviously there's people who've been together for decades. I don't want to necessarily step on their toes and speak for them because I've not been with somebody for 30, 40 years. But I do think that, why not, if you can, whatever efforts you can make. I know there's women out there who've been married for 40 years who are whatever, sister, you make that effort, right? But, there's something to be said for that's how you keep it fresh, right? If, in the back of my mind, I always think there's a possibility that I could be single tomorrow. And I do always say this, if you are in a couple, you're just a death, a change of mind, and infidelity away from becoming a single person. That's just the way it is, even if you've been married a long time, right? So I think that you're hitting the nail on the head to just in the back of your mind, always be feeling like I'm wooing this person continuously, consistently, and if this person does, for whatever reason, God forbid, have to leave my life, that I'll still be, I still will have taken care of myself. I still will have, which I will say that I have done in most of my relationships quite the opposite. Like, I did the first thing that you talked about, especially in my first big relationship. We were together for 12 years. And I got very comfortable. But I say that, it wasn't like I was like, 400 pounds and never leaving the house. But, what I did do was just, like, we were together. We were always together. We were partners in crime. We were like best friends. We loved each other. So most of what we did were comfort, fun things like eat, sex, eat,
that's working out.
Sex, and eat. Yeah, except after a few years, I started to look like that's all I've been doing.
It's a certain point, exactly, it's probably changed our mentality shifts about what can we do as a couple. Yeah. It doesn't always have to be eating.
Yes. Can we climb a rock?
Can we climb a rock together? Can we go bike riding? Like this, stay fit together.
Yeah.
So if you realize at a certain point, like, oh shoot, I'm gaining weight, what can we do to support each other on this journey?
Right.
So that, it's kind of one way to work together through it. And also stress, like some relationships, like being in a toxic relationship, you can't lose weight.
Yeah.
You start to gain weight. Like, what's going on? Like, look bloated and just messed up. When we talk about relationships and how you feel and want to feel good, and at certain points, it's not going to feel good. You might not like to look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
When you come to that point, then it's like call Candy, like this one. Just talk this out.
I agree. I do think that, it's important to find that motivation. And then the other side of that is, the weight gain that can happen because the relationship is I've been in that position too. Like, the relationship is just in such bad shape that the food is the only thing that feels fun and good, and you may or may not be enjoying it with that partner, but it's almost like, you need it.
Survival.
It's your survival. Like, if I don't eat this pizza, this whole 18-inch pizza right now, I'm going to end up killing this fool.
That exactly. Right? What's going on?
Push him out the window if I do not eat this whole pack of Grand's.
It's comfort.
Biscuits.
To talk about devices, food exactly can be comforting. You exactly with stress, you get what's the cortisol is the hormone that you can try to lose weight and go to the gym. That stress hormone. Sorry, you're not dropping 1 pound.
Yeah.
So just figure out those tricks. For that aspect, if you're in a toxic relationship, figure how to get out of it, or can't talk to Candice. Coach you through it,
right?
But to really realize what can you control as an individual, and that's key. As human beings, do have that power of choice.
Yeah,
and that's really powerful. Just realizing you do have that in any aspect of your life. You feel like you may be out of control, but to have that moment to no, I got this. I can do this.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. I do think it is a challenging thing because I'll say in the relationship that I was in, there was a toxic relationship where I was eating a lot. I found myself in a space of like not taking responsibility and kind of blaming him for like always bringing home cookies, always trying to offer me the things he was eating. I'm trying to eat a salad and he's like, "Oh, you want a bite of this cheeseburger?" So it can be difficult sometimes because especially when you're in a toxic relationship, sometimes that's what they're doing is they're sabotaging you or vice versa. And it's interesting that you bring that up because I found these 3 relationship problems, one of which is a client actually asked me about. Another one I found in Shape magazine, and then another one I think I found on Reddit or something like that. But I want us to talk about them because I feel like a lot of people out there are dealing with these exact
problems,
these exact issues. So I'm going to read them, and then Keisha's going to give sort of the food point of view of how to solve the problem, and I'm going to give the relationship point of view of how to solve the problem. Now, if you're on the Facebook Live, I see that people are commenting. There's like a number of comments. For some reason, it is not showing up on the Facebook Live. Right?
Technology.
But I don't want you guys to stop commenting because I will come back. What is it showing up on your phone? I will come back later and I will respond to all of your comments and things like that. I just, I can't respond on air unless we get the comments. And then those of you who are listening on the TuneIn app, or if you're in the garden on Armed Radio Global, definitely call us, 1-800-508-5431, as we are talking about these. Does it come up on your thing?
No.
Yeah, well, whatever. I will answer you guys. So those of you commenting on Facebook Live, keep commenting. Don't worry. I'll come back and get back to it.
So what problems we got?
Let's talk about these, right? Relationship and food. Challenge 1, and this is what we were just talking about. I struggle with eating healthy because my husband, boyfriend won't do it. What's really difficult is that I often feel pressured to go along with his choices, and I end up either not eating what he eats and feeling like I've missed out, or eating it and feeling like crap, or gaining weight because it's easier to just go along with what he wants.
That's how that 15 pounds came along?
Right? 15
pounds.
75.
Let's see. So let's join the world of the culinary and the relationship.
Yeah, like what would you think is sort of a culinary solution?
The culinary solution, because for me what I'm hearing is he might want to eat his ribs and you want to eat the salad. And I hope in this relationship that he's not making her feel bad for eating the salad.
Mm-hmm.
But a way to kind of deal with that is we have to do more cooking. Like if he wants to eat his whatever food, you make whatever he wants to eat, but then try to make it a healthier version for yourself. So you're somewhat both enjoying the same meal, but hers is a little bit more lighter. So you can have exactly the ribs, you can have a side of vegetables. At least it's some kind of middle ground between. So you serve it family style. Mm-hmm. So you can have a little bit of the ribs, but not a whole platter full, and you can just eat the rest. So you somewhat enjoy it, but managing your portions.
Like maybe if it's like a full meal with vegetable, potatoes, and the meat, maybe just have the meat and the vegetables.
Exactly. She can have more of the vegetables, and he can just eat a slab of meat.
Yeah.
But for her not to feel that she has to convince him to eat like her. That's usually what.
Yes.
When I cook for a lot of households, wife eats one way, the husband eats another way. Where can we come in the middle?
Yeah.
So there's a middle ground, between, but you don't want that feeling of anybody getting like, oh, I want to eat this way, and you're sabotaging.
Yeah.
But just can be a little versatile with your meals.
Yeah. And see, that would be, I love that you brought that up, because that would be the first thing I would go to. I do think that in relationships, we sometimes mutually tend to sabotage each other, or sometimes it's one or the other person. And I think you touched on two things that really resonate that I think people might be dealing with when they're in a relationship and the food is different. Either, like you said, the woman is like, why don't you eat like me? Why don't you eat healthier? Why don't you eat salads? Why don't, I want to get you onto my way. And the man is like, I just want to eat what I want to eat.
Right.
And if I choose a restaurant, it's going to be Shake Shack or, whatever, and expecting, you hang out with me. And that's kind of how it was for my relationship, my last relationship. You're with me and I want to go here, so that's where we're going.
It's like a bullying aspect, but you can go to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thai food is probably decent because you have whatever. It's a variety of food.
Yeah.
Or wherever you go, like
you could pick a healthy thing while he gets
right, but just don't knock my hustle of what I'm trying to do. And
and that speaks to something really important, because I think that it's not in a relationship that you have to love the same things, that you have to want to always do the same things, that you always want to eat the same things. What it is can we love and accept each other for exactly who we are and support the other person's difference, whatever that is. Like,
amen to that.
Right? I would say the main thing to look at is like, how supportive can you be of each other's differences? Now, that's not to say that if you are with a man who's got like high blood pressure and cholesterol problems, who eats whatever,
and that's a whole other conversation in itself too, because unfortunately a lot of men are dying early.
That's true. They do die
at
before
40.
us. Yeah. Heart attacks.
Things that are preventable.
We don't want you to die.
I want you to die. The end. I mean, does the conversation really have to be that blunt with your significant other? Mm-hmm. I do not want you to die.
I think it does sometimes.
So,
and even then they don't listen.
They still don't listen. But then once again, we were talking about. I know, right? But it's the truth though. But how many people, like, you have you know, a lot of celebrities, they're dying too. So it's like, hey, you got money to help fix your problem, and you're still, you know, but things that are preventable. But yeah, when you spoke about in the beginning about what are things that we can do, it doesn't have to be a whole 180 with your diet. It's incorporating small changes over time. Because if I'm used to eating a burger for lunch, a turkey sandwich for dinner, or whatever it is, you want me to eat alfalfa sprouts tomorrow? That's not going to happen. Come on. Who's going to... That's too much of a drastic change. But, you know, small incremental changes over time, and then treat yourself to, you know, your guilty pleasures. Right, like you said, you have to learn how to respect and trust one another and have these conversations like, what are you trying to accomplish? Like, she may not feel good in her skin, and she does want to drop that extra 10 pounds, and you know, him tempting with the Ben and Jerry's every night is not good. It's not good.
I never trust a man who, like, you tell him, you know, that you're intentional about doing something, like whether it be losing weight, getting fit, or whatever, and then he tries to tempt you. Like, I don't trust that. It's
what is that about?
Right? It's either that he's trying, and you know, women do it to men too. They're either trying to sabotage you, or they're afraid, or they want to sabotage you because they don't want you to leave them, or you know, they're not up to anything, so they don't want you to be up to anything as far as being intentional and committed to something. Like, you can never trust somebody who instantly or consistently tries to sabotage whatever it is you say you're committed to.
He wants to see me succeed.
Exactly, and I want to see you succeed. Right? Even if it just means getting a few pounds off your ass.
That's it.
We want to see each other succeed.
I want to see you
if it means those cholesterol points going down a little bit. Like, we want to see some you know, some succeeding. Yeah. Some accomplishment. All right, let's go to challenge number 2. I hope you guys, like, feel free to chime in. Like I said, we can't see the Facebook Live, which is driving me crazy because you know I love to talk to you guys. But, you know, keep commenting. The number is 1-800.
We answer after everything's all said and done.
Exactly. We'll come back on the feed. The number is 1-800-508-5431. Now, challenge number 2. I want to cook for someone I really care about. We've been on a few dates, and I just think it's about time for dinner at home. Okay, honey.
Get it?
However, I'm not sure how far I should go. I feel like doing a 7-course meal of foods from scratch may seem like I'm trying way too hard. I also don't want to underdo it. Should I wait a little longer before I take this step, or is there a menu that would be appropriate? What do you think about this, Keesha?
She said she had a couple of dates, so she's already...
Yeah, she likes them.
She likes them. Obviously, the intention, she wants to make a 7-course meal. Shoot.
Right?
She called me. About it. That question reminds me, oh my God, one of my favorite shows is Being Mary Jane. Don't tell nobody. But there's this one episode with this guy, Sheldon, she was dating. He's played by, not his real name, but it was Shazam in Different World. So.
Oh, yeah. I remember Shazam. Anybody watch The Different World?
Love A Different World.
So
he was, the guy. So he's this millionaire, and he was cooking dinner for Mary Jane, Gabrielle Union. So he had this elaborate setup outside, a Moroccan theme, the cushions, like just everything. And she comes over, and he's like, "Just think about a nice little simple Moroccan dinner. You smell the saffron in the air, and say, oh, we can watch this movie." And what does she do? Laughs in his face.
Was she
just like, oh, this is so corny. This is so overdone.
I hate her for that. I mean, I don't really watch that show. But
that was the reaction. Well, most women were like, oh my God, he cooked for me. Yeah. He actually thought about
the evening.
Right, so I say that to...
I'm such a sucker.
Right, me too. I'm a sucker for love. So I say that is to understand for her to understand where she is in this relationship with this guy. Yeah. Because the 7-course meal, the whole idea of it may be a little bit too much, too soon. So, but a dinner at home is, I think, a nice gesture. I mean, after a few days, you should feel comfortable having something, casual.
Like whipping something up.
Right, like whatever she feels comfortable with, but as a sign of appreciation and kind of breaking down those walls. Like inviting somebody to your house and making something for them, I think you see in a different light, as opposed to the whole dinner in a restaurant, like you're here and he's there, just looking each other in the eyes and grilling each other like, what did you do? So what did you do? I'm like, oh God, shoot me. So I'd rather have dinner at home, but I would say keep it simple. You should even a nice place. spaghetti and meatballs will, work with a salad. Right, with a glass of wine, but it's whatever is authentic to that relationship dynamic.
Keesha, did you ever think about doing a cookbook? On a side note,
yes, but I never really figured out what angle I wanted to take on it.
Let me tell you why I say that, because this might be an angle, a possible angle you might be interested in. As you were talking, I was thinking that I've had salads of yours that were hearty. Like, I think there's the salads
I love some salads.
Right? That anybody, like men would like too. They aren't just like rabbit food salads for women. They're like good, hearty meal salads. That if you did a cookbook of those would be perfect, like, cook at home date, right?
And add to the Hallelujah Boo, collection class series.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like the Woo Your Boo, like here's some great appropriate recipes for when you want to just have a casual date. And I get what she's saying here, because I do think it's like, we as women, we get a bad rap for like wanting to up-level the relationship all the time. Mm-hmm. Like we're always trying to, the narrative is that we're always trying to like make him our husband, or we're always trying to, take it to the next level or whatever. So I get why she's a little hesitant, exactly, about, like you said, wanting to do the whole 7 courses. And I agree. But I think that you have, just based on having eaten your food, that you have a range of recipes that would be perfect for this kind of like.
This might not even be dinner.
Even this
you can have lunch. Like come on for lunch or brunch.
Exactly.
So it's not so like, going over for dinner. Like, let's have brunch, have a little mimosa,
Right.
Nice little kick to the day. And go play on the sun, if you ever get some sun in New York.
Right. Listen, if you guys are on the Facebook Live, I want you to comment if you feel like Keesha should make what recipes to make for a date at home cookbook. If you feel like you'd like something like that,
love to hear some feedback.
Yes, feel free. Even though we're having technical difficulties tonight, we will get to your comments.
So I love it. I know. Gotta find this thing here and talk to her.
I know, right? All right, so let's do our third challenge, because we're starting to run out of. This always goes way too fast.
It does. I was like,
it goes so like the hour is like nothing.
Gonna have you on again?
We're gonna have you on again, okay. Especially if you're gonna cook. This is delicious.
We have a live studio audience.
Exactly. Usually, I'm the one who cooks for my guests, so this has been an amazing pleasure. Right, and it's more imaginative and fabulous than I normally do. I usually do my cinnamon chili rub on like some chicken or pork or whatever. Yeah, it turns out pretty good, but I do the same thing every time because it's easy and I know I can do it quick.
Nobody knows.
They don't know. They don't know. I just gave away my secret. They don't know. Unless you've been on the show.
That was your go-to?
That was my go-to. It's Brussels sprouts, brown rice, and like a pork or a chicken with a cinnamon chili rub.
There you go.
Right? I sear it. I throw it in the oven, to cook the rest of the way, and we have a meal. But I like your meal. Like this is like there's so many flavors, and it's so multifaceted. I
start to realize that's kind of my style. It's interesting when somebody else tells you like that's what they see. Like I didn't like, what is my style? I'm like, I don't know. It is what it is. I just like a whole mashup of stuff, but it all works together.
It totally works together. I would say your style is a medley of flavor because there's like, the way you season it, and because I've had your food more than one time, the way you season it is very like, it's like a party of food. It's like in your mouth. It's like, and I know that's such a cliche. It's a party in my mouth. Everyone's invited. No, it's.
I don't know. That
doesn't sound good. But what I'm saying is that you make very flavorful but healthful, and also like I know that you have technique and you have technique as a chef, but I think it's something that you could teach people because a lot of it is just good, whole, healthy food. All of it is, right?
It is, and that's what I was like mentioning before.
In its natural state.
It's like here it is. I'm not into tweezer food and all this other stuff like this. I'm purist. That's what I'm saying. I'm just a purist. Food is food, and see my spice rack.
Yeah, got a lot of
spices. I can tell. Sometimes I run out of salt and pepper, and I'm like, oops, the basic stuff.
Right? Don't we all? It's like, and then you never remember to buy it.
Nope.
All right, so this is the challenge. This is challenge number 3. We are like so low on time, and so I'm going to have to rush through it a little bit.
Timed out.
Oh, a channel timed out? I don't know what that means, but we're going to keep going to the live. You know what? I don't know if Mercury is in retrograde.
Maybe because it's me.
I don't think it's you, my love. I think
Mercury in retrograde.
Right? I think you've brought a lot of good vibes and good food. I think that there's like a Mercury in retrograde thing because the technology tonight has been like
It's part of that tornado, whatever we had going monsoon this morning.
Right?
User entered your channel.
Okay, so now we're back. I think we're back with Armed Radio, so that's good. Okay, so we're gonna do challenge number 3. We're gonna rush through the rest of this. Because, as always, we're running out of time. At some point, I'm going to get this timing thing right.
You have some follow-up questions on your website or your...
That's true.
There you go.
On the Creative Love Collective, that's a group you can join. And join Armed Radio News group, because then you'll always know when we're coming on and when some of the other great people who are on the channel are coming on. And it's just a really good reference. Those of you who are out there and haven't joined. All right? Facebookites. Anyway, let's do challenge number 3. This one's from Shape Magazine. And it says, when your sweetie surprises you with ice cream after a special hard week after work, it's a special treat. He buys decadent desserts and salty snacks on a daily basis. It's overload. What do I do if the way that my boyfriend or husband shows love is by bringing me sweets and treats and celebrating with food all the time? This is similar to the first challenge now that I'm reading it. How should I approach the conversation that I don't want to have treats all the time?
Yeah, that's the common thing about sabotage.
Yeah,
it is.
And sometimes
love language,
right?
It's true. It is. What different love languages off the top of your head?
So the 5 love languages. It's I don't know if I know them off the top of my head, but it's like acts of service, gifts, affection. There's 2 more. And sweet treats and chocolate. Right? So, I mean, like, I think here's the thing about this. On the other end, when someone is trying to sabotage you, but their intentions are good, like they want to love you up.
But then you have to speak up a little bit without crushing their spirit.
Without making them feel bad about it.
It's like, I love it, but hey, buy me kale chips.
Right?
You know? But if their true love language is gifts, then them buying something that they know that you will like will still satisfy their needs. They think about it like, oh, I appreciate the ice cream, but maybe just try coconut milk based ice cream.
That's a good point.
You want to give me a frozen treat? Let's switch up the brands that you're giving me.
Right? So like if you want to
still they both, so it's the win-win both ways. So you're not poo-pooing him for buying you stuff. It's just change what you're buying.
Yeah, I like that. And here's the thing, and I like the way that you presented that, because I think sometimes, as women, we fall into that trap of sounding and being critical and not necessarily delivering that conversation in a way that a man can actually hear it. Because it feels like, your mom telling you what to do, or,
not a scolding, don't buy any of those no, it's...
Yeah, or thanks for that, but, it'd be better if you did this.
A lot of it's in delivery.
Yeah, and I like the way you presented it, because it's like, can we try? Do you mind? And, ladies, those of you out there who are like, I'm so sick of tippy-toeing around him. Look.
It's not tippy-toe. We're not putting over anything. It's just both people getting what they want.
I love that you use the word pussyfooting. But here's the thing. Exactly. It's not tippy-toeing. It's what relationships are about. Like, you don't have to change who you are or anything like that. But when we communicate with each other and we want things from each other, it's the old cliche, you get more flies with honey. Like, be kind. Be contributive. Don't, criticism will get you nowhere. It really will get you nowhere, especially if you do have someone who is trying to love you, but they're not quite, they're trying to love you with food. And so it's not quite the way you want. Right. So understand their intention, and then the communication will naturally flow. It's like, kindness and understanding that, and you'll be able to, come to some sort of agreement about it, rather than him just feeling like you're shooting down his offerings of love.
Right, and then he'll go and try to give his, cakes and cookies to other people.
Hello.
But
then men too, men, I want you to be cognizant of that too. I don't think it's usually as much of an issue, but I think that's where relationships can feel abusive, is when men are very critical. Like, I feel like, especially if you're a woman who likes to people please and stuff like that. It's like, if you love your woman and, she does a lot of things for you, and you don't like the way she does certain things, rather than bitching about it, just praise it and request what you want to be different. Right. And be kind to each other, people.
communicates.
Right? And communicate. That's why we're here. Okay, now we're running out of time. So let me get through these last few things. I want you to be able to tell everybody where they can find you, how they can work with you if possible, what things are coming up. But let me first get through this little bit of business that I always do. First of all, you know that we're doing this whole, self-care series and talking about self-care because it's part of my major coaching program, which is The Secret Art of Seductive Singlehood. And self-care is a big component, what we eat, how we eat. I incorporate yoga in my program and then also healthy eating. I think we should partner up and somehow, put the food in the program. We're going to talk about that. So there's that. As always, I want to give you the 3 ways this week to make your love and your life sweeter. Add more veggies to your diet. Right? Cook something for somebody. Just, if you don't normally do it, if you don't feel like you can cook, you can always find a recipe. There's a ton of them on YouTube. Do something nice. It's kind. Right? Don't you agree?
I agree. There's so much information out there. If not, call me.
Right? Number 3, develop a list of daily self-care habits. So, this is all in alignment with the idea of self-care. Keesha, let them know where they can find you, and we probably only got 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
But don't take all 2 minutes. You got a minute, let them know.
No problem.
Website.
My website is www.thegourmetdiva.com. Find me there on Instagram as Gourmet Diva. Also on Facebook as my name, Keesha O'Galdez. That's Keesha. Last name Ogaldez.
Hey, wake up.
We got 30 seconds.
30 seconds. That's probably it. I'll give my phone number, but I don't want everybody calling me. So
we will put all the information.
Right.
We'll put that on the thread. So, as usual, sign-off question. What is my relationship with food? Is it helping or hurting me? And until next time, never forget you're a love machine. If you ever start to feel like you're not getting the love you need, just make more. And ask for candy, everybody.